A very warm welcome to season 3 of Build and Grow Money Matters, a series dedicated to helping businesses go beyond financial management to achieve financial growth, resilience, and innovation. As businesses continue to revive and pivot to newer models in these times, Your Story is proud to partner with HSBC for yet another season of inspiring conversations, insights, and observations from some of the newest trendsetters in business and stalwarts of the ecosystem to help businesses power their phase of growth and business continuity. Now, our topic for discussion today is on a mission to add 100 years to the lives of Indians. And joining me for this very interesting chat is Deepak Sahni, who's the founder and CEO of Healthians, which is a direct-to-consumer healthcare service. Thank you very much, Deepak, for joining us today. I want to begin by asking you about the last couple of months amid this pandemic. It's clearly healthcare is the space to be in at this point in time. What has been your experience and your journey over the last couple of months since the onset of this pandemic?
Thank you, Priya. Thank you for having me on the show. It's a pleasure to be here. I think, yes, the journey has been very, very satisfying since the beginning, and the last few months and the last probably the pandemic time, the 2 years have been ever changing. It's a very difficult and a very different times we have seen. On one side, there is a huge demand to be serviced, wherein there was a huge pressure on home diagnostics, and we being primarily doorstep diagnostic business have seen the large demand coming to us towards us. At the same time, we have seen that the awareness towards the health is also increasing, which is the another reason to also look at people are actually looking for more routine tests, more generic tests apart from COVID-19 testing. So one way there was a huge demand, another way the more awareness is again adding to a huge demand. So all in all, the exciting time, challenging times, but obviously you need to keep your service up to date. You have to manage things within within the same manpower, and you also have challenges like people going down with COVID themselves and then still have to take care of the customers. So all that challenges have been there, but it's been really, really growing times, and probably the companies have gone 3x, 4x in the last 1 year, which is good to see, and with lot of great learnings during this pandemic times.
I wanted to understand with regards to lifestyle diseases. We're seeing so many people with lifestyle diseases so far. So, what is your view on how the outlook towards life and health has changed owing to the onset of this pandemic?
I think it's largely changing. So as we know, the in India, it's not a preventive market at all. It's always a curative market. People take care of their health, and however, it's been really, really late. But that's changing a lot. People have understood the meaning of comorbidities and understood that why comorbidities are actually making people really go into the challenges, and they understand the comorbidities is all about lifestyle diseases which can be prevented. So the attention towards prevention is really, really going great now, and people are getting more aware. They understand the meaning of how to keep their diabetes in control versus a thyroid in control or a hypertension in control, and why do they need to monitor their health regularly. So I think that attention has been increasing, and this is a good time, and people have adopted new changes, new, and this is a new normal that has come in now in the healthcare space, specifically in the diagnostic space, where the attention towards prevention has been increasing. People are going more for a routine, and we have seen that change. We had to really, really push hard on awareness to people on social media in the last 4 5 years versus now. The impression rates have really, really gone up. The conversion rates have gone up. People attention towards the search has gone up 3 times to 4 times. So all these are signals towards people really worrying about their health post pandemic.
At Healthians, how are you looking at leveraging technology to improving the health of Indians out, so far? Because I do believe that your motto is to get more and more Indians healthier by 2022.
So I think technology is at the center. It's a heart of the business that we do, and everything revolves around technology. And there are a lot of pieces in technology that basically adds to this particular thing. So for an example, we bring in an AI-based tool called Health Karma, which helps a lot of people who are not aware about what health conditions they are going through, and they're quite younger. They can basically answer these 13 lifestyle questions, get their health score, and that health score gives them the idea about their health. At the same time, gives them idea about the risk areas and what tests they should go for. And this is completely backed by technology. From there, there are reports that is being sent to them. Is basically a smart report. It's not only the historical data, but it also has a futuristic data. It also talks about what next to be done. it also talks about when do you repeat your test, and what to eat, and what how to change your lifestyle. So all that technological things, which is basically a customized and a personalized report, which we call as that smart report, which we started in 2016, is really making changes to people's mindset in terms of adopting to the change. A lot of people just keep the report and keep it to themselves rather than taking any actions. These reports are making them take actions. And finally, and not the last, but this is we also have something called, which is an AI based auto reminder system. So based on your past results and criticality of the result, it also reminds you about when to repeat your test. All these automations and all this AI and machine learning tools using the technology is helping people to actually keep their health in control, in screening and in monitoring mode all the time. And by taking corrective action at the right time, they're actually adding some healthy years to their life, and that's what our motto is.
Home-based healthcare services is something that has been picking up, and ever since COVID-19, we've seen an acceleration of these home-based healthcare services. So, what's been your experience, and what's really driving more people to really opt for home-based healthcare services?
I think largely because it started from all COVID, so people really the OPDs in the hospitals and OPDs all over went down. Even the clinics went down, so the more teleconsultations were actually happened, and teleconsultations is generating more prescriptions, and those prescription tests are to be done at home, and that's one of the reasons that people decided for a service that comes at home rather than going out, because they don't want to go out and step out from the collection center. That was one primary reason. Second is during this time, people have realized, and more people have got to know that such kind of services existed, right? So either you need a mass marketing, or you need such kind of COVID-19 kind of an arena to come in, so that people start understanding that such services exist in the market and start utilizing them. So I think initially they started understanding that these are such services like that. They used it, and then they feel that this is much better than other services. And I think home diagnostics was a very small share of the market before pandemic, and now it is becoming larger and larger, and the demands are going much higher from there onwards. So I think pandemic has really helped in every ways, in terms of at least making them aware, at the same time making them use the service, at the same time understanding that how the service is more convenient, more reliable, and more affordable at the doorstep than going out.
Deepak, give us some metrics in terms of how, what kind of tests are we seeing? What is the kind of, number of people who are really opting for these tests? What you've seen on your platform? Give us some perspective on how the market has been shaping up and growing in India at large.
Sure. So I think so when we come to numbers, obviously the numbers are shaping up. Like I told you, in the last 1 year, we have seen a roughly around 300% growth. So roughly there used to be 40,000 people coming on a platform back in February 2020 to versus roughly around 1,40,000 to 1,50,000 coming in every month on the platform, booking up the test and taking those services. Those samples have been collected, and largely been 3x from them. And this is 100% home sample collection based services. The test they are opting on is basically more of routine. So largely about 70 to 80% of tests are routine, but these are full body checkups, and these are whole body checkups which takes care of at least 5 to 6 organs in the body, uh, ranging from diabetes to thyroid to hypertension to heart to kidney and liver and stuff like that. So largely people are, rather than going for an individual test when they're giving the blood, they are basically thinking of at least testing the whole body and understanding if any body organ is not doing well. So it's more about inclination towards package and preventive health than actually testing only one thing. There are about still 15-20% people who are chronically ill, and they just wanted to check a particular organ or a particular disease. But largely the people are opting in for a kind of a whole body checkup, so that they understand the whole cycle or the whole body at once, rather than doing it in intervals.
Technology has really been the core of how you're operating at this point in time. And I want to understand how leveraging this kind of technology has helped optimize costs for you as a platform.
So technology has been, like I told you, it has been always the center of the business. And when it comes to cost control, there are many ways the optimization has been done. So right now we are operating from just mere about 10 people. We are operating an operation teams of around 1,200 people. And it's all because of the technology. The entire operations of which is an operation intensive business of going at home, collecting the sample, logistics, and everything involved, this entire business and entire operations is basically working on technology, where people sitting at the back end, which is a central operations team, is hardly about 10 people. So it's not less than, it's less than 1% of the total manpower out there. It's all handled there, so you don't have to spend and put more and more people or more and more checks, because your checks, your quality, your accuracy, and your logistics are all managed by an app or a technology. That's on one end. Secondly, in the labs also, a lot more technology is being going in. So a lot of deep integrations are being done in terms of pre-barcoding of vials to this thing, wherein wherever there was more manpower required to manually do the thing, which is taking up time to do the test, at the same time it is taking up more manpower. Everything is really, really optimized. And this has been the work in the last 5 6 years. It's not been there in this industry, and there have been a lot of stuff that we have done first time. For an example, our technology handles auto report validations, wherein an pathologist has to look at 400 500 reports in one day. It auto filters for him. It also validates for him, and also tells him that 4 40 50 reports that he has to really look at the slide level, some 70 80 reports that he has to look at the reports level. So it is basically filtering a lot of data for it, and it is all by technology, wherein you need less number of pathologists, which are already in scarcity in India, for doing more number of reports. So these are some examples of how technology is optimizing the cost, but largely a lot of manpower is saved because the technology is being in place.
Will you be looking at new models of technology implementation going forward? Because I do understand that AI, ML, data analytics, these are some very crucial components of the future of how businesses are shaping up. So if you could give us some color on that.
Absolutely. So if you really look at, we are sitting on a very, very large data, and what we are generating is a very large health data out there, which basically is to help you personalize your health records. At the same time, is to also personalize your treatment going forward. So your smart reports come with a lot of historical data and information for your doctor to treat you in a way that he is not actually treating you on the basis of your last report, but is actually treating you on the basis of the entire historical data, and how's your health has been in the last 4 5 years, rather than just being the last report. So the entire way of looking at this data has been changing, and this is all by AI. So today, and there are new products, like you just said, there are new products which are coming in. So today, AI basically tells you about your health score. Today, AI tells you about when to repeat your test, but tomorrow it will also futuristically tell you about uh, what all tests that you need to add up in the next test when you're going in for. When you log into an app, it automatically tells you that you're 10 days away from your test, and this is something that you need to do. Also looking at your lifestyle data, your wearable data, and your digital data. It will also, and your genetic data, it will further explain you in terms of how how you have to change your lifestyle in times to come, your eating habits in times to come, and which kind of eating habits is actually hindering in and changing the results that you're looking at. So it automatically helps in many ways in terms of managing and controlling your entire lifestyle. So it gives you insight into what is going inside your body, that is changing, that has to be changed because of your lifestyle, and what is the repercussion of that particular impact on your entire body.
Right. I do believe that $12 million is something that you had raised in November 2019. So what kind of utilization have you made of that capital? If you could run us through how the cash has been utilized and what kind of cash conservation has really happened.
So I think we are very cash conservative company in terms of spending. We do not burn a lot of money, and we make a positive contribution margin on the transactions. It's only because we are expanding so swiftly from roughly last year about 40 odd cities to around 90 plus cities now. Because of that, only the cash is being going out in expanding of these particular cities. Otherwise, the cash conservation is always in there. We're very, very, even if we had a lot of money, we always have been very, very conservative in looking at the cash has to be used at the right end, and probably used more in the strategical deals and acquisitions tomorrow than being used just into the marketing. Thanks to pandemic as well, the cost of the marketing has gone down at least by 40 50%, and that also has enabled further cash conservance over the time. So that has been the fundraise. We have in between also did some kind of a fundraise in the last year, but that's a very, very small amount as a bridge. But that's something that is helping the company. Uh, it's very well funded for another 18 to 24 months, and is being really looking at spending more money towards expanding right now geographically and taking this 120 to 150 cities, adding more labs, and servicing more and more people by geographically expanding, and at the same time conserve cash as much as possible, even if the fundraise happens at times.
Right, you touched upon how you're looking at expanding and what kind of strategies you're going to be implementing going forward, but we want some details. If you could give us some details on what kind of expansion strategies are you working with and what the focus will be on the year forward.
Sure. So expansion definitely is going, like I said, one is the geographical expansion. So we are going deeper into the existing cities, obviously increasing our consumer bases there, and it's going double every year. And we are expecting another 100 to 120% more growth in the existing cities we are in. At the level of the cities also, we are growing 100%. So like I said, probably from 40 to 90 is what we are already there. From 90 to 150 cities is what we are already planned in. These are cities wherein the operations get started, and at the back of it there is a lab that has to be established, so there is an expansion happening in. So you would probably by March see us in anywhere between 120 to 150 odd cities in India. And when it comes to the services also, see, diagnostic has always been core, home testing has always been core, but there are more services that people are opting and asking for. And so we're definitely helping them out. There is a expansion towards supplement business, wherein a lot of consumers are looking at buying supplements, which we have been offering them through partners. Now we are getting ourselves into it, and then probably we offering them all the kind of supplements, diet supplements and nutrition supplements that they need to be offered by Healthians itself. Versus apart from this, obviously we are the partners to many other apps and health apps in India. So those health apps, either it's insurance or either it's pharma or it's any pharmacy company, they're all dependent upon, or it's all banking upon Healthians backend to integrate, and that's where the services are expanding. So you will see us on almost all the healthcare platforms because it's a plug and play for them, and we can offer them services in about 120 cities very soon. So that way there are expansions in terms of partnerships and affiliations, there are expansions in terms of supplement business, and there are expansions in terms of geographical expansions as well as going deeper in the existing cities.
So what kind of revenue growth can we expect at the end of FY22? What's the growth been over the last year? And if you could give us some sort of indications as to how much we can expect in terms of revenue growth for the next financial year.
Yes, so we have been growing 300% last year. This year we are expecting at least 150 to 160% more. That's what the trend has been, and I think we still at a phase where we can expect 100% plus growth for the next 2-3 years.
Right, that's an interesting insight. I want to understand from you in terms of key leadership lessons that you learned amid this pandemic. If you could highlight 3 leadership lessons that our viewers can take away from your experiences over the last 1 year.
I think there are many. I think the two off the head at the top is basically definitely looking at when the pandemic stuck. Definitely we looked at how to really get the employees back to work or motivated towards working, because we were the front runners of the healthcare and we had to actually go hand in hand with all the healthcare warriors and has to be in the front end. And we knew that there is an emergency kind of a situation in the healthcare and you can't sit at home. And at the same time, you had to really bring in your employees. And we are very happy at the same time, very fortunate that every employee actually stood at that point of time and helped us in restarting the work within 7 days of the lockdown. And since then, we have never gone into a lockdown. So we only had a 7 days of the work halt. That too, the operations were still working. But since the 2020 last year, there hasn't been any holiday in terms of our work, and the front end manpower is completely working. So the learning has always been obviously keeping your employees first, communicating to them, and obviously if you keep them first, they will keep your company first. And that's what we focus on, really understanding their problem, providing them with the right kind of insurances, providing them with the right kind of medical supports, so that if anything goes wrong, they're at least assured of, providing them spaces to stay where the people doesn't want to go back home. So it was all around employees and obviously about keeping them first at that point of time. That's the first part of its learning. The second part of the learning has always been do it yourself, or you have to be the lead by example. So it is not about the leadership who only knows the way, but it was also about showing the way as well this time. So the learning was to really be in the front end, and that's why on the first week of April we remember that every management person was in the field working along with these guys, because it was easy to sit at home and tell that why don't you go and collect the samples and go out versus coming out yourself. So it was very important to lead by example. And one of the, it has always been called as a leadership skill but never been used, but it is very important to lead by an example, be in the front end yourself. And that's actually changed the whole game. When I was in the front, I was coming to the office, I was at the centers where the COVID testing was done, I was with the people who were doing the COVID testing. That was changing the whole environment and the motivation of the people, and that really changed it. So it's always about not just knowing but also by showing the way.
Specifically in terms of the kind of learnings that you have from the space, what would you say are the three biggest learnings that you have and three mistakes that you would not repeat going forward?
So specifically, if we're talking about the space, I think there are a lot of learnings. Learnings has been, we have been into a space which is largely traditional, and we had to we had to really go in deeply into this particular space, which is largely dependent and established by a credibility and trust. So it was not about just going online and offering a better services or a better discount or a better price. It was also about creating a lot of credibility and trust. Secondly, it's a market of an accuracy. If you are into this kind of a business, you should ensure 100% accuracy, or you should not be into a diagnostic business. That was a very clear agenda that we followed in terms of practices. That is the reason why we did not just partner, but we have actually controlled the labs, and now we have our own labs also, because we wanted to have an end-to-end control on the services that is being offered. So until unless you've been offering end-to-end accuracy or a controlled accuracy, you won't be able to offer that kind of a service. That was another learning. Uh, in terms of, I would not say much of mistakes out there, but I think we have learned that we should have gone more swiftly into the multiple geographies, but we always tried learning more from the existing space. We said we want to remain in Delhi NCR for about a 2.5, 3 years before entering into the new cities, largely, but the market was actually demanding it more. So when now we are expanding very swiftly, we understand that there are some small competitions that has come up at that point of time. They are still smaller than us, but at the same time, if you would have gone a little faster in those particular spaces, you would have been the first mover, like you have been in multiple cities. So these are some of the learnings, but at the same time, the opportunities are really at that point. Opportunities at that point of time was really like that, wherein you were to remain in one city, learn best, give an excellent consumer service, and move ahead. On the other side, the learning from the consumer side also has been very great. So everything revolves around a consumer for us. So if this is a consumer and his demands are changing, so what he was demanding from us in 2015, his demands in 2017 and 19 and 21 are a little different. So you have to always understand and learn from your consumers demands, and what are they looking at in your service. Maybe in 2015 they were coming to you only for a home sample collection, but today they need a lot more other things as well, and you have been continuously adding up, and that's what we are also doing. And that basically adds to uh, the entire growth of the business is totally dependent upon understanding your consumers and giving them that solution.
What is your view on competition? Because suddenly we are seeing a spurt of players in the healthcare space, specifically when it comes to diagnostics and other services, specifically when it comes to home-based services. So, how do you deal with this kind of competition? Is pricing an important driver to get more consumers on board?
Pricing is an important driver only for the first time. I think the important driver is the service and the kind of differentiation that you show them. So it might be a consumer who's testing you for the first time and probably choose you because you were priced less or a price higher. But this is more of a repetition business, and it is not a one time business, and you are actually connecting to a consumer household and not just the one consumer. You want to get the whole household as your consumer, and that is the reason it is more about the service and the differentiation that you show. So if to win over the competition, the best thing is to really look at the service delivery that you're offering in and offer a superlative service to your consumer all the time, and ensuring that it goes really smooth for him. Also ensure that the customer has to do the minimum or has to do a minimum effort while he is actually using your service. If he's really is if he's really doing a lot of efforts to enable and to get to the service or to book the service or to really get the service completed, then you're not actually solving the entire problem. So we have always been focused on how do we really make it minimal for him, and how we make it really easy for him and the entire family, from a booking to an entire collection to anything. So if you really focus on that particular agenda, I think that's where you are actually winning the consumers and their trust, and the word of mouth goes viral at that point of time, and that's where we have built the brand for.
Right. Since this is a money show, I can't let you go without asking you what your relationship with money is and how are you looking at making it grow?
So I think it's very different. If you really look at, I think I would probably relate it more with the vision. So money follows to the vision. If you have the vision, it's definitely follows that, and it's an important thing, but it is not the only thing specifically for me. It's if you are driving a vision which is much larger, which keeps you picking off the bed every day morning, even if it's a good day or a bad day. It's not only the money; it's your vision who's making you go there. Finally, obviously, money is important and it's important for everyone. But to grow that, like I just said, my focus always has been on the person who's giving me that money, and that's my customer. And that focus always to that customer is to look at what is his changing demands, what is looking for, and why he would continue to pay me for the next 5 years or 10 years is something because of my service and something that he wants, and I'm delivering for the next 10 years. And that has been the only way of growing that money. And our focus always has been that customer who's giving us that money to grow it.
All right. On that note, thank you very much, Deepak, for joining us today for this very insightful discussion. I'm sure the audience has a lot to take away from this. Thank you so much, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Priya. Thanks a lot.